Hello, everyone. My name is Kamran Akbarzadeh, CEO of Project Control Academy and the lead for Project Professionals Network and the EPIC program. As you know, this year we started a series. It's called Tech Talk series, when we invite technology leaders and tool providers to come and talk about the technology and tools that they have, the solutions that they have. In my last year's kind of research and talking to technology providers, I noticed there are a lot of great things going on. And I was excited to bring these voices and these presentations to you this year. And I'm grateful for that. And today we also have another great presentation by Michael Wong from Outbuild. Let me just give you a little bit introduction about Michael, and then he gets started. Michael is a seasoned professional in the construction industry with a rich and diverse career spanning various roles. Currently, he's serving as the head of customer success at Outbuild, based in California, Bay Area. Mike has over 14 years of experience in the industry. His expertise encompasses project management, design and construction, and senior leadership roles, highlighting by significant contributions to high-profile projects like Star Wars Galaxy's Edge at Disneyland. I didn't know that, so great experience there. And also the new Stanford Hospital project in Palo Alto, California. With a foundation in collaborative planning, Michael is an evangelist of people-first planning and empowerment of those who physically build the spaces we live, work, and play in every day. That's why we have Michael here to talk about a subject, a topic that should be something of value and interest, and that's bridging the gap between schedule and look ahead. As you know, in today's dynamic construction environment, the disconnect between what's planned and what's actually happening on site can derail even the most accurately scheduled projects. And we are here with Michael to talk about the solution that they have and the strategies that you can implement in order to fill this gap. So Michael, thank you very much for joining this session. Everyone, please mute yourself if you don't want to talk. And as I mentioned, if you want to ask a question or have a discussion during this session, just raise your hand and we will have you open to speak. So thank you very much, Michael. Floor is yours.
Thank you for the lovely introduction. How's everybody doing? Looks like we got people from all over the world, which is awesome. I love talking to a diverse group of people. Again, I think I mentioned before, maybe some people jumped on. I don't like lecturing. I like having conversations. I like telling stories too. So this presentation will really be more of a story about what everybody deals with, no matter where you are in the world when it comes to starting and planning and executing a project. So I'm going to jump right into it. I've already have a great introduction, so I don't want to talk anymore about myself. And then I will go ahead and share. So let's make sure that pops up, right? All right. So we're going to talk about bridging the gap between schedule and look ahead. Now, people call it different things, but schedule in this instance, what I'm going to explain is really your master plan. It's your contractual obligation, your prime contract agreement that you've made with your stakeholders, major milestones, phases, things like that. And we consider look ahead, right, is that more short interval inside of the 4 to 6 week planning window that is consistently been what's actually happening in the field, but is not reflected in that larger stakeholder conversation that you have, right? So we want to make sure that we get those connected, and Outbuild has many tools that allow you to do that. But again, I like to tell stories. So this is really about starting a new project. I'm sure everybody on this call has maybe not even started one project, but dozens of projects. Kind of all start the same way, right? Lots of conversations with maybe small amounts of people at the beginning. You're talking about your preliminary prime schedule. You put in an RFP for your request for proposal, talked about major milestones, timelines, all that kind of jazz in a contract. Your contract gets signed. You do your bid analyses, right? You're working with your upfront teams, your pre-construction teams. You're finding those team members and those subcontractors that are going to take this idea and turn it into something physical. And then you get them signed up. You're excited to mobilize the site. Honeymoons, right? Honeymoon stage is what we call it. Sunshine and rainbows. People are excited. New project, different team. Um, you put a huge amount of effort into resource loading this one. We want this one to be different. We want this one to have morale all the way through. Everyone's going to be really happy to collaborate. Everyone's going to be super excited to come to the job site, right? Um, then what happens? We all know what happens. Stuff kind of shifts. There's an idea of you're bringing schedule information into the team, and because of the contract you signed or because of the level of detail you brought in at the beginning, you're doing something that this guy, who we all know, has said on multiple occasions. Why do we do this, right? When you bring in a rock star set of subs, and I mean, all these hard hats behind me, right? I've been part of different teams in different positions. I've been one of those rock star subs. I've been the owner that brought them in. I've been always surprised that my leadership or the stakeholders or people that really drive construction at the top of the ivory tower, right? They still drive that we are telling everybody who's hired in this project what to do. We're bringing a schedule in, we're taking their expertise, and we're lowering their potential in terms of what they're able to actually produce for us because of what we're actually driving as tools for them to use, right? We don't want to do that. We're handing, I mean, depending on the size of the project that you're on, right? You're handing millions of dollars to a group of professionals that have been doing this longer than you. You might have more general experience across a project or across a different type of building, but that specific trade that you're handing that $1 million contract to is the expert. That's what you're hiring them to do. So you shouldn't be telling them what to do, right? You should be having them tell you what to do. And I know that all these people that I worked with here, mostly superintendents, the second they hear, wait, hold on, you're going to have contractors come on their job and tell us how to build a building. Not necessarily. You still have milestones. You're still going to have scope and things that you can drive to fruition. But you're expecting that those teams that have that expertise bring that expertise to the table. And I'll show you how that works, right? We've all seen one of these. I like just having this scroll as I'm talking here, right? This is a pretty typical 6-level of detail schedule. Single trade based, goes down to single day logic. It's a CPM nightmare, basically, right? It's logical in a sense. It's connected mathematically. It follows the CPM principles. You can follow critical path all the way through it. But is it practical? Are these tools that we're using to produce and try to predict the future and expect perfection, are they actually practical? I've been on so many projects. I've never seen this actually be practical as a useful tool. Yes, your litigation team, your lawyers, the people that, cover you from claims, which unfortunately is a very real part of construction, they love this because it holds people accountable to the day, to the date, to the whatever you're driving towards. But it completely kneecaps everything you're trying to set up on a job from the beginning. You're hiring the best of the best, and then you're not really giving them a chance to be the best. You're giving them something that 5 people came up with 2 years ago and expecting them to make this work, even though 5 years ago, this project, or 2 years ago, right? This project was totally different. There's a whole different set of constraints, whole different variables that we never sort of could have forecasted, right? Weather, global pandemics, I can name a dozen, and they could all always change, right? Why are we expecting teams to adhere to something that they weren't a part of, one? And it's not how they do business. They know how to build, right? We should be flipping this around as the necessary non-value of a project. We should be flipping this around so that we're providing a tool that lets them live to their full potential, to live up to everything that they can bring to a project, right? Stop doing this. We need to stop doing this. It's a very large poke at everybody and disrupt the industry. And that's why we exist as a company. That's why I love my job so much, is that I don't like doing this to teams that don't deserve it. I don't like doing this to teams that are spectacular builders, yet they are adhered and expected of with things like this, right? We embrace change. We know it's coming, right? It's the most consistent taxes change. It's coming. We're not going to avoid it. A tool like this doesn't allow you to change. It doesn't allow you to adapt. It doesn't allow you to be as fast and adaptable and as agile as the field teams know to be. The people that are building the building know how to be. This thing can't keep up with it. That's why they're always disjointed. That's why I'm speaking about bridging the gap between the two, because they have been consistently disconnected. So fortifying, training, really embracing and preparing a team for change, because we know it's coming, right? I worked with a team. This is not long ago, actually. So they're literally out on the Hawaiian Islands. So they're already faced with constraints that, maybe some of the people on this call have never seen before, in terms of procurement, in terms of actually getting proper lead times and knowing where stuff is coming, especially post-COVID. Procurement times have just blown out the window. Like, you don't know if something's showing up or not. So they had about 1,000 line item schedule, followed about the same structure as the one I was showing before. And I got them to this in about 4 hours. This looks crazy, right? This is a 50 line item schedule. They took 1,000 line items and we built a 50 line item schedule off of it. This is possible, 100% possible. It's just depending on your drive to change, your drive to actually forecast and really embrace the idea that I need to make a tool that is for the field to do their best work, not for my lawyers to cover my butt at the beginning of a job when it hasn't even gone south yet. It's like bringing a prenuptial agreement to your first date with your significant other. Let's try to make this successful before it's a failure, instead of making it a failure from the beginning, right? This is possible. Our tool allows you to do this. We have different levels of planning, which I'm going to walk through and show everybody, that allows you to have a higher level of phase and milestone-driven planning and expectation set, where you can get into those details that is adaptable and agile enough and keeps up with the field team, basically what they're doing with Excel nowadays. And then you don't have to worry about if the two are connected. They talk to each other all the time. One technology stack that goes all the way down to weekly planning. You're looking for scopes of work here, right? You're looking for obvious milestones or phases. This is, built off of a pour plan, right? So this is like a four-story building, good size, good amount of scope. And we followed the structural team's plan for how they were going to pour the basements and the parking garage and all this scope of work. And we started compartmentalizing those pieces to follow those crew flows, that TAC plan, kind of, in a sense. And then we built through the exteriors, we built through the interiors, we built through anything else that we knew was going to drive critical path, and we connected those logically. That's where the logic is driven. That's where you can still follow that CPM method, still hold people accountable, still see how dates are slipping or adjusting, but it's at a much higher level because you're not expecting perfection from the start of the job. You want to have the right level of detail at the right time. If you're getting closer to the work, that's when you use the Lookahead tool and you really refine how that work that work is really going to be laid out. So a couple things I've already said, right? You want to make sure that you have that conversation with your ownership. And if you're lucky enough that you are ownership, or you have an owner that's maybe more on board with this because they understand it too, it's a lot better than seeing that 3,000, 4,000 line item behemoth that they're used to getting printouts of, where they can't really see what's happening. You want to have that conversation up front. Hey, we're going to try something different. Consistently on all my projects, my field teams suffer because I have to use this ridiculous prime contract schedule that doesn't help anybody and it's causing us to have a claim at the end of the job. So really it's a tool to save you from claim, but it's causing you to claim. It's totally backwards. It doesn't make any sense to a lot of teams that have been trying to crack this nut for a long time, right? We're talking about workflow of the project. We want to understand where we're starting, which way we're going, what obviously needs to get built first for other things. Location-based. It could be location-based. It could be trade-based too, depending on what makes the most sense with your project and your scope. Your site constraints. If you have a access road only on one side of your project, you're most likely going to start with that exterior until the rest of the project opens up, whatever that constraint may be. And maybe you have to get a crane area out of there first. So you got to build everything else and then the crane's last, right? Those are logical steps in terms of building a master schedule like this. And then trade handoffs. Again, this tool, this level of planning is set up and focused so that those rockstar subs that you signed up and are handing millions of dollars to have everything they need, every tool they need to succeed on the project. Use drawings, right? Everyone's got printouts of drawings in their planning rooms. You should have as many as you could possibly fit on the walls. Use your models. We are blessed with the fact that we don't have to look at stuff in 2D. We don't look at stuff that's hand drawn anymore. There's augmented goggles you can put on your face and actually stand in the space, right? Try to find a way that you can get those rockstar players to be able to feel comfortable flying a model, or somebody that can fly a model for them, so that it's an overall spatial conversation. It's not just looking at drawings and possibly missing how we can make this schedule or master schedule even better. And involve them, bring them into it. Every person I've ever trained, right? And every time that I've been a part of an ownership or GC position, we have a huge struggle with reliable commitment. And it starts again with they weren't part of that schedule build, yet they're expected to adhere to it. Flip that around. Make them do their job, right? You guys are the experts. I have a date that I need to hit because of our overall project length. I want high quality. I want good teamwork. I want under schedule or under budget, and I want ahead of schedule. That's what we should all strive for as a team. How's the best way to do that, right? How do we get to that point as a team? This is our Lookahead tool. This is the answer that we're trying to solve to that solution, right? Or we're trying to create for that solution. It is not logically tied. You have two levels here. And I didn't show the first level, but it looks just like that printout, right? You have this top level, which is that 50 line item schedule I was talking about. This is that second level down. This is where the rubber hits the road. This is where your teams, because we're cloud-based and we are not project-based in terms of our pricing model, or sorry, not user-based in terms of our pricing model, you could have 100 people in this helping you plan this at once. You should have 100 people in this helping you plan this at once. Whoever's got the most relevant information should be a part of this plan. They should be making tasks for themselves. They should be holding themselves accountable for their piece of each one of these puzzles, right? Each one of these major sections here, you can see you can choose a certain week interval to look out, and then you can actually pick those parts of the schedule, and Outbuild will focus and refine everything that you want to focus on those pieces, and it gives you the platform to start building out those plans without the complication of logic tie, without the headache of having a dozen people into one Microsoft project file, right? Or one P6 file. It's all in the cloud, and it all can handle people getting in there and adding their pieces of the puzzle. We have full user permission control. You're not relinquishing any power. You're not worried about how, if I have a sub that comes in and puts in a bunch of tasks, how is that going to affect my master schedule? Is it just going to change things willy-nilly? No, not at all. There's a process called modification request. Really, the Lookahead module is the place where people can put the plan in, and then those plan administrators, the people that know more about critical path or more about the grand scale of the project, they can approve or deny those changes. And that, again, that is all logged into this single technology stack of a platform. And there'll be lots of questions on this, so I'm looking forward to at the end of this one. I can stop talking, you guys can start talking too. So point and click, right? Point and click on what actually you want to plan. You go in, you build this plan, super easy, drag and drop, move stuff up and down. Again, no sort of logic constraint. The logic lives at the master schedule, and you can break that down as much as you need to, but this is built to be free and adaptable for all the teams that need to use it. Little side-by-side comparison we like to show. This is actually on a YouTube channel. This is somebody building this exact same thing in Excel, and then somebody building it in Outbuild. And you already see right off the bat, we're way ahead. You're going to come in with the difficulty of, I hear the contention all the time. Hey, my teams will never get in and actually start building this, right? It's intimidating. It's a software tool. They're already using Excel, and they're using it in a very slow, archaic way. Because again, Excel is the best thing and the worst thing that's ever happened to modern society. You could do so much with Excel, but it's so limited in the other sense of the word, right? It's fragmented. Anything that changes on that doesn't flow into anything else that you're using. Outbuild is much faster. It's connected in one single technology stack, and it's built specifically for doing this. Excel is not built for this. We were able to do this in 4 minutes, right? Put in a good plan. This video continues for a long time, and we're still working through how to do all the formatting and making new weeks and all this other stuff with Excel. Just in that sense at all, and saying you're one of your most expensive and highly skilled, competent employees on the job site, your superintendents, your people that are driving work, they don't have to do this for 4 hours a week. They can do it in 20 minutes or even 5 minutes. If it's a consistent build that you can just copy and paste Lookaheads over, we have tools that allow you to do that too. All focused on making those rock star team players as rock stars they possibly can be, right? It goes to the field too. That's my favorite part, is that their barrier of entry is not a laptop. They're on the run. That hard hat and this hard hat, I was a subcontractor, and I was actually a project manager that was basically absorbing as much as I could from my general superintendents. And I was literally running after them. It was normal pace for them to walk, but I was running after them because I had to keep up with everything that they're giving me in a notebook. And then I take that notebook back and try to process everything that they deal with every day. These are the types of tools we want to provide so that they can make those changes on the fly. They can track constraints on the fly. They can absolutely back check and feed that information back into the system so that they can make insightful changes on a higher scale. Again, you track progress on this. You go and you check in with a trade specifically on this. Those changes, you get an internet connection straight to the cloud. Everybody sees it, can be approved or denied. It's one technology stack. Lots of tools that allow you to do this. This was yesterday in Denver. I live in San Jose, California, but this was yesterday in Denver. There's teams doing this, actively doing this, and they love it. They love the fact that they're actually able to hold their subcontractor teams accountable for what they're signed up to do. They took their master schedule, they condensed it, they drove to the milestones that they want to make sure gets executed on a project, and then they held their teams accountable to getting them there. And what this subcontractor does is they actually stand back and be like, what do you need to get your job done? This is my main job as a general contractor, not to tell you what to do. You're supposed to tell me what needs to get done and what's in your way. And I am going to take care of that. That is my job. I'm not value add here, right? I am necessary non-value. You are the value add. How do we make you more valuable? And the teams are buying into it. We have lots of different tools that allow you to see data in terms of plan percent complete, who's actually meeting their goals, who's actually planning their goals correctly. And it's a slow churn, right? Because a lot of people are, this is new. Holy moly, the subcontractor team is being listened to. We usually just talk about this behind your backs out in the field about how screwed up this plan is. Now we can actually talk about this plan with you, and it's in a tool that's, yes, technology based, but it's pretty easy. I can understand it pretty quickly. I have the customer success team at Outbuild to help train me on it. All right, let's try this thing. And these teams are seeing success. These are all plans from different projects, right? Where they're going in and they're taking that level of detail that was consistently given to one person on a laptop somewhere else, totally disconnected from the field, and they're making their plans. They're creating their own commitments. They're being a part of this planning effort. And if that happens, if you get buy-in at that level, then reliable commitment skyrockets, because it's not someone else's plan that they're just being told to do. It's their plan. Like, hey, we've been talking about this for 4 weeks. You told me you needed 3 days with this. We had a RFI that I resolved for you. You can't call me tomorrow or Monday morning and be like, hey, we can't do this. This is your plan. We've been talking about this for 3 weeks. What happened? Obviously, something could come up, but it's more of a mutual conversation about that work, right? It's not, I told you were going to do this on Monday 3 weeks ago. I know you didn't give any buy into this, but why isn't it done? Right? That's the wrong way to think about it. Again, you're doing their job for them, and you're really just burning out your highly competent and highest paid employees, and they're just going to leave the job because, oh, this subcontractors aren't doing their job. I hate telling people what to do, and nothing gets done. It's very backwards in the way that it's set up, right? So lots of different teams doing this. One of the biggest things, though, too, that I like to really talk about the most, and one of the biggest things I think we bring to the construction industry, is constraint tracking. I like quotes. I don't know if you guys have caught this yet. This guy likes throwing punches, likes getting hit with punches, right? We get all this planning, right? Oh, great, we got a planning tool. Perfect. Awesome. What happens when something changes? What happens when that thing that you didn't see coming comes in and totally screws up your plan? You don't have to just sit and take the punch. Don't just wait for that to happen. Forecast it. Again, in our tool, in the very beginning part of our plan here, you can already start tracking roadblocks. And I actually show this in a different slide as well too. But Mr. Tyson here, giving you a heads up, like, hey, there's punches coming. We know there's changes happening. Why are we waiting for them to happen? Again, leverage that team that you're paying lots of money to because they're experts in their field. Leverage them to do that planning for you, to be that advanced recon team of, hey, we're going to need a drawing, we're going to need inspection. The city still hasn't approved this. The architect still hasn't approved this. These 17 gang boxes are in the way. You could be looking weeks and weeks in advance too. Because again, we are separate but connected. They have access to anything that's coming in the next 6 to 8 weeks, even beyond, and they can start talking about what's in their way. And that's what you push as behavior, right? We've all seen these. These are terrible. They're great, but they're terrible because they're not connected to anything. It's on a wall in a trailer somewhere. It's great that this information is getting captured, but it's not being captured in the right place. It's not being put where you need it, right? It needs to be connected to the plan. And the way we do that, right? This is the roadblock module in Outbuild. And same kind of process, right? You're planning out, you pick your master plan detail, you plan out all your different steps of that task, you make your to-do list. And then once you get to the point of, resequencing and getting your stuff done, you can really start hammering into what the actual roadblocks are going to be for those tasks. Because you can see like this task, this is the today line now. Now we're looking at something that's 3 or 4 weeks out, and we can hit that construction cone right here. And it brings up a whole different module. It's on the iPad, same button that you can see on the iPad. And you can actually start vetting out information that you know. It's the punch that's coming. You know this punch is coming. So avoid it, right? Or try to resolve it. And then the other thing we do as well is because, again, one technology stack, we have access to all this data that's being input by those teams that know how to do the work. They know what's coming, or they have a very good idea of what's coming better than we do. It puts it in a nice, clean constraint log that you can track your open punches or your removed punches. You can hold people accountable for it. You can absolutely have a trending column. It's actually something we added from user request that shows how many days do I have left until this is actually going to affect my plan per what my teams have said, or which specific tasks are going to affect this. You can have multiple as well. And then even if any of the teams online here, one of the first teams that really started integrating with a lot is Procore. Any new RFI that's written in Procore after you connect your Outbuild schedule to Procore starts bringing in new RFIs. So it's already giving you a heads up. Hey, someone might be swinging at this punch here. This punch might be coming. Make sure you're on top of if this RFI is going to affect any of your plan. And it's just point and click which tasks of the plan are going to be affected. And what's great, since it is bilateral and connected to Procore, that RFI or that constraint is removed in Procore, it's moved into the removed plan here on your constraint log. So again, all sorts of tools that allow you to really dodge and weave those punches instead of just taking them and having the plan really be affected by it. We love getting out to the field too. We love it. That's where we have all come from. I mean, I have 14 years of construction experience. A lot of the people part of our company, we don't have an office. We're a fully remote company. We'd rather be out in the fields, working with teams. I work down in the trenches with all of these people that are dealing with these problems every day, learning more about it. Again, we're not a Oracle. We're not a Microsoft. We are a band of construction professionals that just got tired of seeing this stuff happen. And we decided to make a change and try to disrupt how this has been done. We love training. This is part of packages too. If you sign up for us, we love coming out and doing training, learning from you, throwing ideas at you. It's more of a partnership than an actual contract that you sign with us. This is the team in Hawaii that I was working with too. Subcontractor team, printing out Lookaheads, talking about their plan, all in one place. This is actually in Santiago, Chile. So we're all over, a lot of teams in Latin America, teams in Canada, we got teams in Australia, all over the world now, and it's growing quickly. So it's not just a singular idea. This is not just a problem that is faced to a specific place. This is a universal problem that really needs to be addressed in construction. And the numbers are showing. So our active projects have been consistently growing. I've been in this company for 2 years. We didn't have very many US, this is just US based too, by the way, or centered on US based. So we didn't have very many US-based projects that we were really focused on. We were just getting started, trying to understand, we have this great idea that's worked well in Latin America. Is it gonna directly translate to what's happening in the US or anywhere else in the world? It does. These charts are all up and to the right. That's what you want to see when you're trying to start a new idea or disrupt an industry. So about halfway through, I want to show these last couple slides too. This is a more of a deep dive into this hard hat here, the cool looking one from Disney. That was probably one of my most eye-opening experiences in terms of collaborative planning. From the very beginning, very top of the food chain at Disney, they wanted to make sure that this was a very collaborative project. But unfortunately, the tools they were using at the time, Outbuild didn't exist. There were tools like BIM 360 Plan, some things that really kind of constrained how we were talking and how we were collaborating with each other. So this will be a direct comparison of what I've seen, what I really learned the most in my 3 years at Disney, planning this work and really understanding how we could have improved if we had more of technology-based or quicker adaptable tools than the very low fidelity I'll show you that we had. So this was a general process here, right? We had 3 different phases, and then there was an executive reporting and a bunch of stuff that was fed out for making larger decisions. But you had your big rooms, you had your field boards, and you had your project hubs. Each one of these aligned very closely to all the different stages of Outbuild as well, right? You got your master planning, you're figuring out what's coming into your cycle, and you're figuring out how to refine that and how do you actually execute it, and then you're learning from it throughout the process. So stickies in wall. That's all we had. We would put everything in Excel. That would get processed down and had to be post-produced by a dozen different people to get it put in the right place and formatted correctly and emailed to everybody. It was a nightmare just to get, 3-4 hours worth of work that we had done in phase planning out to everybody, memorialized and captured somehow. Outbuild on the right-hand side does that a little differently, right? It's all cloud-based. It's intuitive. You can drag and drop. You can drag and drop dependencies. You can copy scope. We do have an upload feature. I like mentioning that at the end of my presentation. We have an upload feature, but like I said from the beginning there, don't upload the 1,500 line item schedule and expect it to work in Outbuild because it's not going to. We're not set up that way. You're going to negate basically all the other levels and all the other value add that you have in Outbuild. Start with a schedule, basically at its bare bones. What are your major milestones? What are your major phases? You can always refine from there and add back as much as you need to, but break down the process until it doesn't work anymore. And then just start adding back from there. This was our Lookahead planning. We had 3 rooms every day, 5 a.m., planning meetings, checking in, daily check-ins. It was a nightmare. You'd open the trailer door, or you open the door that's just to the right of this room, and all those stickies would blow off the wall sometimes. And it was a mess to try to put everything back. And these boards had to get shifted. We had different swim lanes. We had, I think it was like 1,400 people on the site, right? And every now and again, you'd have a shift of entire crews that have to come in different rooms. It was a monumental effort to get physical stickies written, explained, put on a wall, and executed on. And that was incredibly beneficial for the project because we were able to be super adaptable. It is low fidelity. People aren't intimidated by Sharpie, and it shouldn't be. Some people were, but less people were intimidated by a Sharpie in a wall than maybe a computer software or being afraid of. I'm not really a scheduler. You know how to build, so we need your build knowledge. I don't need your scheduling knowledge. I'm glad you don't have scheduling knowledge because that's just going to slow you down. I want to know how you want to build this, and this is how you, communicate that out to everybody. Then this plan on the right is the Outbuild Lookahead that we've kind of talked about already that connects all that stuff into the one technology stack that's connected to the master plan. And I didn't even talk about this, but we have that 3rd level down. That's actually weekly work planning. So you've done all your work, you've refined the plan, you've connected it to your master plan activities. Now you want to hold people accountable to that really good working planning effort that you've had for the last 3 or 4 weeks. This is the week you're in. This is the week that is about to start, and you commit to it. We were doing this with paper and Excel, actually out in the field tracking constraints and whatnot, but you can see you can commit to specific scopes of work. You track progress here, and then at the end of the job, or actually at the end of the week, you close, and you can actually start seeing real-time data that we used to do with stickies and Sharpies, little stickers and Sharpies and maps. but we track this with PPC charts. We track this with PRR charts, which is your ability to remove constraints that have been forecasted. We give you pie charts that show you your variance. Like what is the consistent issue? Is it labor? Is it the owner change orders? Is it weather? Which one is driving your up or down PPC, right? You can track multiple stages. This is really just our first generation. We have so many aspirations on how we can make this better. Executive dashboards that show full company profiles, that show every project, having these more refined to show specific subcontractor data and how that can be used to help vet your rock star players and make them even more rock star. A long shot. I mean, this was only 5 years ago that was on this project. And these tools like this are evolving. People are using Power BI to feed stuff into it. I'm sure lots of people on this call probably have used Power BI or Tableau. We had this on Disney, but the base level data entry was difficult to make sure, one, that it was good data, and then just to capture it. By the time you captured it, we were already in the next phase, and that data didn't really help us anymore. It's got to be really quick. It's got to be really clean. It's got to be really concise. And having one technology stack where you're having lots of teams collaborate and put this data in from the grassroots, from their brains straight into the computer, that is how you're going to find the best data and make the most insightful decisions. I love this quote. I actually just heard this actually in the last couple of days. The beatings will continue until team morale improves. That's not a good way to run a project. And unfortunately, a lot of people that run projects now, that's all they've been taught. I mean, lead by fear. Fear gets results. Why do I want to walk away from fear when yelling at people gets things done? But only gets done as far as you can yell. It's only as far as things get done, right? So this is a subtle difference between these two pictures, but we're going to open up to questions here in a bit as well. But I was wondering if anybody could catch what the difference is to this. And I'll give you guys a hint. It's got something to do with the chairs and the tables, something to do with kind of the energy in these two different rooms, right? That energy on the left-hand side is what we're trying to capture. We're trying to capture, this is a superintendent. This was my job as support. None of these guys were general contractors. None of these guys had anything to do with support team. These were the workers. These were the actual field teams and foremen that were driving that work. And look what they're doing. They're collaborating. They're working. This is what excites me when I see it, because we're able to build a trusting, open environment where anybody can come in with good ideas and put them on the board and say, hey, let's try this. Let's try over here. Hey, we dealt with this. It's a real pain in the butt in this other building. I think if we tried this will be better. That's how you do it right there. The team on the right, they're still very effective, but it's still a lot of onus on the general contractor. It's still a lot of effort for the general contractor to go around and capture everybody's stuff, put it on the board, and then just have people kind of nod. Yep, I did tell you that. Uh-huh. Don't do that. You're doing their job. Stop doing their job. Make them do their job. Aim for the left, not for the right of this breakdown, right? That's my presentation in terms of my general aspect of Outbuild. Hopefully you learn a little bit more about us. I know I left a lot of stuff open for discussion. I'm happy to answer questions now as well. But I do implore, if anybody's more interested, send me an email. We can get you connected to any of our team members, give you demos. Hopefully you work through the whole process here. I get out there and train you wherever you are in the world, and we can further this conversation and build our community that all believes in what we're doing. So thank you very much for your time. I leave it open for questions now.
Great. Thank you very much, Mike. Maybe you unshare the screen or stop sharing.
Yep.
We open this to questions. There are some questions already in the chat box. Let me just go there. Okay, so John, you have a question. Maybe you can ask that if you're here. That would be maybe better, because John is one of those master scheduling.
Absolutely.
So different, I mean, big projects. So he has a question, and that's his kind of passion area. So John, I'd like you to ask yourself.
Yeah, I have. Can you hear me now?
Yep. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. I'm working at big pharmaceutical production buildings, and that is both utility buildings and production buildings for Novo Nordisk. And one of my problems is that I'm working in the MEP area. So I have all the technical disciplines, HVAC, cooling, water, electrical, all the security and everything. And one of my problems is that when we are working with our civil contractors, they are using exactly the same methods that you are describing. But I see when we come to the MEP area, where we are having so many different piping and wiring that has to be put up at a certain order. Otherwise, we simply can't put them in. It is huge rose-fry stainless steel tubes, 300, 400 millimeters, and so on. And here is the issue that if we are coming out of sync, then it has a huge effect on the schedule. And my experience is that when it is construction people running those meetings that you are showing, I have an experience that they are not using the schedule so that they can see how things are interacting. So I totally agree that we need those building meetings to see what is has to be done on the short term. But I need some more focus on the scheduling part of it. And it is totally lacking in many of our projects.
Yeah, I mean, to answer, thank you for your question, by the way, John. And then not a unique problem, very much a big problem. I've done enough hospital work too that every every corridor you open up in a hospital, in a major hospital anywhere, there's so much stuff in every square inch that you're putting in a ton of effort to try to. We call it lasagna planning in the sense that there's so many different layers that have to go in at the right time that even accelerates a need for a tool where all those people are consistently talking to each other, and any of those changes are seen, processed, rapidly replanned as fast as possible, because the more days that you're waiting, right, the more days that the plan is affected. So it really again starts with how refined do you need to make an area, maybe if it's a processing MEP area that's got tons and tons of coordination, really highlight those heavily trafficked areas, the ones that have a really tight coordination, and make that an appropriate size that your schedules, your subschedules of that aren't too complicated, right? Aren't too crazy to try to have those field teams really feed information into. And again,
what I've done is that I'm starting on fixating on the process for each system, and then saying which location are we having, are they located, and then we put the order, installations order on that level. So it is a complex schedule, but we are down to systems and locations. And also for the whole commissioning part, we're also having that in the schedule very detailed. But the most important is that it is the project managers that has set what they want in the schedule. I totally agree that it is those experts that should do the. But we need to be much more disciplined in the MEP area.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's I mean, I was in drywall for a long time too, framing, and I always say that those are the ones that everything passes through, but your MEP trades are really your densest, I think. Absolutely, because your shafts and your ceilings and all these areas that have these MEP systems that have to work together, they have certain requirements, they have to be certain distances, all this stuff. It is a especially difficult area to refine. And it's great to hear you're doing location based and you guys are breaking down those areas that you need the most focus to. But I know what I've seen consistently is certain project managers could be better versed at scheduling tools than others. It should be something that is very low barrier of entry, bars and dragging and dropping and adjusting and doing it on an iPad or doing it on a computer, so that those people, those experts, can bring that data quickly to you, right? And I'm sure, what scheduling software are you guys using?
We're using P6.
Right.
And,
So that's
even some of our project managers, they are doing their own scheduling.
right. Yeah, exactly. So if they're not comfortable in P6, again, the P6 and Microsoft projects, they have, I mean, I think Microsoft project has 250 buttons or something just on the front screen and at the top ribbon. And when I was in Microsoft project, I used maybe 4 of them consistently. So again, it's that problem you deal with, right? With P6 is incredibly powerful. You can do so many things with P6, but what parts of P6 really get you the most value, right? What is that 20% that gets you the 80% of the work done? We've taken all those, and we consistently take feedback and rebuild and readjust how we're doing things, so that those tools that you're seeing as most value add gets put into our system and part of how we're planning as well too. So it's really about, I mean, you got some rock star competent people that know how to do these things, except the tools they're being handed are difficult to manage.
Yeah.
So thank you for your question, John. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks, John, for the question, and thanks, Michael, for the answer. I think the next question is more related to that. We mentioned about Primavera and Microsoft project. So Carmen is asking, one, what is the name of the product? So we know it's Outbuild. That's the name of this platform. Now, the question is, how does it connect to other platforms like Primavera? I think this could be a standalone, right? It doesn't require Primavera or Microsoft project or things like that to get data in, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I mentioned there is an upload tool. So we do caution that first schedule that I showed that was just endlessly scrolling is a P6 schedule that we've loaded. It can read P6 schedule files. It can read Microsoft project files and get you to a point where you can see your data in our system and process it in our system. But again, you got to remember that we are a different way of planning. We're a different level broken down system. And if you load a schedule, there's not an easy way to take a 2,000 line item schedule and make it work as an outbuild schedule. So definitely you can bring in your tools. You can summarize. I actually worked with a lot of P6 teams that are very used to using P6 and Microsoft Project, and we brought in the summary tasks. We brought in the chunks and milestones that they've seen in their templates or they already have made in a prime schedule, brought that into the system, and then started using the Lookahead with all their data that they had in P6. And there's not a straight direct way to plug it in, because there's a lot of still conversation about those driving factors that I talked about of crew flow, what's ready for work, where do we have access, understanding that instead of a really mathematically based, in a lot of sense. Sometimes those P6 schedules are really based off of CPM principle and math of like what could be possibly done. As you're getting closer to a project, because those P6 schedules, they take forever to build too. They got to validate, weeks and weeks to validate. As you get closer to actually doing that work, that's when you really kind of activate a phase and say, okay, I'm 3 months out or 2 months out. Let's activate this phase in a sense. Let's put it into our Lookahead and Outbuild, and let's start really refining those details. I always tell people, don't see a 50 line item schedule and assume that all the detail is gone. We just threw it out. Absolutely not. We're taking your P6 data that you've already used, and we are engaging it at the right time, at the right level of planning, so that your teams can actually use those tools. They use that effort that you put in and spend all that time vetting, and what you know is a validated duration for these tasks. Don't get rid of that data. That data is gold for sure, but use it at the right time. Don't force it at the beginning as a attempt to be perfect from the beginning, because we know those plans are going to change. And there's lots of really easy tools to actually copy and paste and move that data all through your outbuild schedule. Again, keeping up with how things are actually getting built.
Yeah, I think the idea is to for shifting the mindset and providing alternative ways of doing things that could be easy for many people to use. So sometimes we are just stuck with Primavera, and sometimes we think, okay, is there any way out? Is there anything simpler? Is there something that we can? And I think today's presentation is more about, yes, there is possibility, and also we have to kind of have some sort of shift in our mindset about these things. So now, Michael, one question is, you showed like the first thing you showed, there was a lot of line items.
Mhm.
And then you showed the other one that Outbuild showed like 50, 60 line items.
Mhm.
So how do you go after this? Like, is it a team effort before the project starts to reduce that to 56 line items? How does it, I didn't get that when you took us through the example.
Yeah,
How does that work, comparing the like very large schedule with lots of line items versus the Outbuild one?
yeah. So getting to, and that was a very aggressive, and I'm pushing this team to be aggressive because they have great potential to be able to drive a 50, 60 line item schedule. Not every team is going to be able to do that. I understand that. Again, that first question was, what is your expectation that's set from your owner, your key stakeholders? They want to see certain milestone dates. Hopefully, not everybody can avoid going into 3, 4 levels of detail, but hopefully there is some dialogue you can have with that team that's expecting that monthly schedule update about, I have all this data. We validated this schedule and got a pretty good idea of what all these durations are going to be with the data we had at hand. I am going to step back out, capture that data as phases now and milestones that I'm still holding ourselves accountable to. I'm still committing to this dry-in date. I'm still committing to this COO date, whatever those major milestones are. But I'm backing out that data and I'm saving it for when I know that we're going to be working more on that area, that phase. Because I don't want to, clog the works or really just drown my team with too much information. We still have that information. It's ready to go whenever we need to put it in there. But when we put it in, where actually, if it's something that's happening a year later, I get a year's worth of data. I get a year's worth of learning that I can actually take what we assumed was going to be the plan and really make it the plan and input it. And to answer your question too, it's not an easy, this is how you do it. It's very much people focused. Every job's got different constraints. Every job's got different owner requirements. Every job's got different crew flows or sizes or tact areas and units of work, right? It's a lot of understanding what we could possibly start with. And I always push people to say, break the system down until it doesn't work. Take as much out as you possibly can until someone says, okay, that's too much. We got to put something back in, right? And that's kind of your barometer. I always say the general rule of thumb, if it's single trade or inside of maybe 2 or 3 weeks, always try to push that into Lookahead. Any of that data, put it in the Lookahead. So go to like a corridor phase that has all this MEP in it. Don't go to single trade MEP and talk about a 5-day activity on your master schedule. That is what Lookahead's made for, right? Make it corridor A in floor 3 of building B. That is your chunk, and leave it at that chunk, right? Connect to a milestone, have your logic flow through it, but everything else that's inside of 3 or 4 weeks of duration or even 2 weeks of duration and is a single trade activity, it doesn't have any handoff in it, put that in Lookahead. Because that's where the agile and adaptable part comes in.
Oh, that's great. So that's now I got how the approach is. That's really great. There is a question from Ernesto. Are you able to save different versions of the schedule? Is it manual or automatic, or do you have a history feature to view the changes?
Yep, absolutely. So we have what we call baselines. So you can have a master schedule, so that 50 line item schedule that I showed. You can set a baseline at any time. We have unlimited number of baselines you can set. It's basically just a timestamp of what that schedule looked like. And then it's just a dialogue with a list that you can turn those different baselines on and off, and it will always reference to your current schedule and actually show you change in days of ahead or behind. And that is, so master plan right now, since it is cloud-based, is an active save. You do have to make sure that any changes you make, you hit the save button. The system does warn you if you're moving to a different module or tab that, hey, make sure you save this before you jump to a different thing. But that's an active save, and then a baseline is an active button push as well to be like, okay, maybe it's the once a month update, maybe it's the once a week meeting you have. You just want to capture those timelines. The more the merrier, really. You could save every day if you really wanted to. Doesn't limit you to how many, and then you always have those points in time to go back to.
Very good, thank you. And one more question here. I see, I don't know, a comment or question, Sheikh Ahmeduddin. Outbuild are actually redefining the look-ahead planning and aligning with baseline schedule. Can the actuals be recorded in Outbuild software and transfer to scheduling software?
Yeah, so we do have, again, like I said, the baseline is your planned, whatever you're baselining, right? And then your real schedule, when you're progressing it, the second you put progress into Outbuild, it'll lock those dates and it'll basically actualize what happened in the field for you. And then you can see the difference between whatever baseline you want to reference to what that actualized data is. And it will always save that logged information. And then again, the talking, I didn't show you guys modification requests, but talking between changes that are happening in Lookahead and things that you want to make sure get captured in the master plan, modification requests are all logged as well. And we're constantly improving that tool on how to report out on that data so you can see charts, and you can definitely see how these specific changes have affect your schedule. That's all tools we also provide.
Very good. Thank you very much, Michael. Anyone has any other questions? Michael, how can people reach out? I think you provided your email.
Yeah,
now, if someone wants to have a demo, they should reach out to you or the team.
Mm-hmm.
And also, is there any possibility for people to try it out?
Yes, so outbuild.com, literally it's just a .com, outbuild.com. There are a bunch of different buttons on there that you can see some of the stuff we're providing. There's a demo button. We do provide a 30-day demo with a conversation with our account executives. I'm through the other end of it. After you sign contract, you get to talk with me and work with me in the training and implementation part of it and our CS team. But yes, absolutely. We love having people try it. Bring as many of your colleagues and peers in as well to try it, because it's not an easy thing to just adjust to. It takes some effort to really to try to rethink how can we do this a different way, a better way, an innovative way. Can't just keep doing what's been done in the past, right? Because you're going to get the same result. So
very good presentation, Michael. You can see also the comments about the
really
good presentation style that you had with the storytelling. One last thing I wanted to ask, is Disney still using the same method?
So this was ILPD. So Disney definitely they love experimenting, right? They love just trying new stuff, and they definitely have. And Whiting Turner actually was the main general contractor. That has changed a lot of the culture of planning in Whiting Turner. Is what we learned on that job, and really putting onus on. I'm hiring a really smart subcontractor team. How do I make them as proficient and as competent as possible? I don't want to be telling them what to do for the life of the job, right? They need to be telling me what to do, what I need to get out of the way for them so that they can do their job, right? And that's really changed a lot of planning efforts, both in Disney and Whiting Turner. So yeah, it's been cool to see that kind of grow from an experience I was a part of.
Great. Thanks a lot, everyone, for attending this session. Thanks also, Michael. You mentioned that kudos to Academy for this program. Great glad that you guys like it. It's been great turnout as well, with about 60 people I saw at the most. So very good there. And we are recording this session, but the recording won't be available to PPN community. It would be available just to the Epic program members. So if you want to know how you can get access to the recording, let us know. Thanks again, Michael, for this session. Everyone, see you next month with another Tech Talk session that we will have. Thanks a lot and have a great day, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.